So let's get into the details of how I created this Radial menu in TradingView. So the software that I'm using is called Flexi Deck. You find it at flexi-deck.com. And it actually comes in two different versions. They have a creator version, which allows you to edit menus. So you're going to need the creator version if you're going to create this menu the first time. After you have created the menus, you can use the player version. So the player is cheaper, of course, than the creator version. And you can download a 30-day demo of the creator version, create your menu, and then you can stay on the player version. But I think it's a good idea to maybe get the creator version because then you can always change your menus. Once you have installed this Flexi Deck, you get an icon up here called Flexi Deck, and they have first you create a project in there, and then you go to the menu editor and you start to build out your menu. And you also have this called macro editor. So each little button here in the menu is connected to an action, which is a macro. So let's take a look at the trend line button, for example. So here I have on the left click on this trend line button, it's going to activate a trend line macro. So let's open that in the macro editor. So I have created some collection of TradingView macros, and here's the trend line one. And here you have a lot of different things you can, different macro actions inside the macro that you can choose from. And in this particular case, we have the perform keystrokes action. And for some reason, I couldn't get this to work in TradingView without first putting a pause right before. So I think it has to do with the menu being activated too quickly, and it's not really getting those keyboard shortcut commands into TradingView unless I put this pause in. So if I click this, we can see that I can set keystrokes, and it's the keyboard shortcut Option T. And in order to get this to actually register, because if I have to put this record keystrokes based on the keys position right here. By default, it's sitting here, and if I put in Option T, it will give me a strange little character instead. So let's delete that. If I switch to record keystrokes based on the keys position, I will get the Option T instead. So that took me a little while to figure that out. So shortcut for you. All right. Let's go to another one. So let's look at the change of time frame. So this one is very simple, and it didn't need any pause before it. So it's just a combination of letters in succession. So we have first pressing the number 2, then the number H, and then the return key. So in TradingView, I would press 2, H for hours, and I would press enter or return key. And that's the same thing I'm doing here. So then I've connected this macro to this particular button here. This is the action. You go in and you set the 2H action here. And for each of these menu items, you can customize it with the text, and you can customize the color of it. And you can also customize the entire menu here. So right now I have 4 different menus, and I'm only using 3 of these. I have the trading view menu, which you've seen, and then I have this ticker menu, which looks like this. So the way that you set that up is that you click this button, and then you have an action that's called open menu, and then you select the menu that you want it to open. And the way that works in TradingView then is that you click here and you open another menu. So let's take a look at this one, because this is a little bit special as well. Let's open that in the macro editor. So what this is doing is it's typing in a ticker, which is OMXS30, then pressing return. And then I press 1D return. So what that does is that first we change the ticker and press return, and then we change the time frame to daily and press return. And I've actually managed to make this a little bit faster. The default here is, I think, 50 milliseconds or 100 milliseconds or something between the keys. So you can change that down a little bit to make it faster. So the way that works, let's take a look. So I'm on the 2 hour and I'm on XAS. Let's go to OMX. You can see it changed to daily. Let's see what else I've got here. So let's look at all of these. Bitcoin, it's just BTC USD return. For the Dow, I have chosen AMEX, Dow Jones Industrial, and return, gold. So it's basically just typing these characters. And here on these, on the tickers, I've actually set these to 10 milliseconds to make it really fast. Otherwise, you would see TradingView typing all these things out. Same thing here, and the same thing here. And this one is special. We already went through that. This is a spider, and the Swedish krona towards the dollar. Let's look at all of these. These are time frame selections, perform keystrokes. This one is special, so let's take a look at this. This switches to my broker. So the first thing it does is to activate the application Safari, which is my browser. And then in order to make that actually appear, because sometimes when you're in full screen mode, I noticed this in TradingView, you're in full screen mode and you switch to Safari, or Safari is in full screen mode, that animates. And so I had to put in a pause in order to make this work. So I put in a half a second of a pause, and then I click these coordinates. And these coordinates took me a while to figure out, because if you look at inside of Safari, you can see that this is the icon that I'm trying to press. So if Safari is in full screen mode for some reason, this icon goes up a little bit. So I managed to find the perfect spot here where it can hit this icon if it's in full screen mode or not. So you can, if you have a Mac, you should be able to copy these exact coordinates and it should work for you if you put that as a permanent tab here. And the way that you create a permanent tab is that, let's say I have this tab and I just drag it to the side until it becomes a permanent tab. And then you can move these around. All right, what else do we have? Copy chart image. This is just a keyboard shortcut inside of TradingView. And then we have the cross line which is this one. It creates a cross. Let's look at the other ones. Vertical line, it's just a vertical line. And then we have a horizontal line. And then we have the ray. Okay. So these are just, all of these tools are just keyboard shortcuts in TradingView. And inside TradingView, if you want to find these shortcuts, you go here and you can look through all of these shortcuts right here. Now, the way that I triggered the menu is from my mouse. And let's look at Logi options, which is, I have a Logitech mouse, an S3 mouse. And if I click into this, you can add applications up here. It's in Swedish now, but it says add application. So I have added TradingView here. So when TradingView is the active application, these are what all these things do. So I've basically set my menu to open using a very obscure shortcut command, which is Option Control Command Shift R. And then I have also assigned the delete command to this button here and also to this button. So I can invoke the menu using this button on my mouse, which is very handy. And also, so I invoke that, I create a trend line, and then I can use the delete key on the mouse to delete that. Now, I also have a menu, a separate menu inside of, let me show you Safari. Here I have set another keyboard shortcut, which is the Shift Command Control Option T. Basically just something that no other application is using. And what that does is it brings up another menu, which is the Safari menu. And that menu just switches to TradingView. So that enables me to go to Safari and to this particular tab, and then back to TradingView. So I can jump back and forth between my broker and TradingView. So that's also quite useful. There are other ways. Let me just show how I invoke this menu. So on each menu, you have an invocation, and you put in a keystroke right here. So this is where I invoke. This is a system-wide command that can be issued to open this menu. And this is the one I trigger from my mouse. And if I go to the trading view, we have a slightly different one with the R instead. And that invokes that menu. So that could be good to know. Now you can configure these menus in different ways. You don't have to have a radial menu. So here I'm experimenting with another type of menu. Let's create a new menu. You can play with the shape and size of the menu like this. So we can have a half circle, we can have a full circle, we can have 1 ring or 2 rings, and we can have up to 8 buttons. And you can disable different buttons down here that you're not using. So that's pretty handy. And you can also change the size of the entire thing if you want it to be like really small. Whatever you like, and I assume depending on your resolution on the screen. So that's how I do that menu. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope you try it out. Cheers. Bye.